Whether or not I'm going to be able to lift the parts out one-handed though. I mentioned in one of my other videos about when you're using this, it's great stuff. It's basically a spray foam insulation. When you're using it, it tends to expand and make a mess and whatnot. And I recommend don't try to clean it up when you first do it and realize you make a mess. Wait for it to dry because it can pick off, especially off of plastics. And when you're all done, I'll show you how I've got it in this window here. You can see there's still just a, it's kind of bright, sorry. There's still just a little bit there. You just use a plastic putty knife. It'll scrape right off as long as you don't try to wipe it up first when it's wet. When it's wet, it makes such a mess. I mean, you can still scrape it off if you've tried to wipe it off wet, because I think this corner was one of those that I did that. And I've already kind of cleaned up the rest of this, so I just wanted to make a mention of that, and I've got a little bit up there I gotta clean up, but right along there I gotta clean up. I'm gonna have to use my other hand though for that, but it's so much easier if you just wait. I know it seems kind of frustrating when you're trying to put it on. It slops out, well, it makes a mess, and then it expands and makes a bigger mess, and it's really hard to work with. I'm sure there's probably somebody out there who knows a little bit more about how to work with it than I do, because I've used it for art stuff and to make sculptures, which is a totally different process, and I kind of carve it out after it's dry, so I don't have to worry about how it works in a seam or something like that. But definitely what I've learned doing it for seams and things is just let it dry. When it's done drying, you can either cut it with an X-Acto knife or one of those box cutters, and you can use a plastic, I keep wanting to call it a spatula, sorry, it's a girl thing. Putty knife. Use a plastic putty knife on plastic windows or any other surface really, and it just scrapes right off. So my tip for today. Finding taping with one hand is pretty hard to do because I can't get my right arm up high enough to stabilize things, so I can only use it in the bottom edges of anything because that's as high as I can get it to go, and it's hard to stabilize it there, but I'm figuring it out. And I definitely recommend, if you're going to use any kind of caulking, to tape it off first. Do a nicer job than that though. Because it's going to make it so much better in the long run. It takes a little longer time up front, but man, it makes the cleanup easier, because when you put the caulking into those little crevices, it tends to go blobby unless you're expert at this. And then when you go to wipe it down, it smears all over the place, and this way it just keeps it nice and clean. Sometimes I feel like giving up because things take me a long time. Just taping this window took me forever. But I'm so glad I didn't give up. I'm probably gonna have to take a break for a while before I try to actually put the caulk in there, but I got all the tape on, and that's good. But I'm kind of shaking a little bit here from doing this, so I'll just come back to it. I'm really glad that I have finally figured out how to kind of push past when things start to get a little bit rough. My right arm's kind of hurting right now. I didn't push it past where I'm, supposed to go with it. I didn't lift anything over 10 pounds, and I didn't do anything over my head, but it just kind of taxes me doing some tasks. So I just have to remember to pace myself through it and not give up just because it's a little tough. Sometimes I want to. I cuss a lot too, but whatever. I'm so far out here, nobody's gonna know the difference, right? Could have been better, I suppose. Oh well. It is what it is. My grip strength just is not what I would like it to be, for sure. Just trying to squeeze this trigger. Is taking everything I got. You should see me try to open water bottles. It's pretty comical, actually. Oh, Nessie Marvin. Hence, this is why I needed to put the tape up. Not terrible though, considering. That's kind of blobby, but whatever. That's why we use tape. For the fun part, while this is still wet, I'm going to spray a little cleaner. Cheap stuff. I don't know, I just got it at the grocery store. On my finger, let's see if I can do this and hold the phone and spray. Nope. Alright, you can just look at the wall for a second. Spraying my fingers so they're just a little moist, and then I'm going to use that wet finger and run right along that bead and kind of smooth it out. And I'll bring my finger off and do that again all the way around, and then when I peel the tape off it'll be nice. So now that it's all kind of, the bead is wiped down, I'm going to very carefully peel this tape off while it's wet so I get a nice crisp line, because if you wait too long to pull the tape off, then it tends to make that edge kind of choppy. But I want to make sure I do a good job here, so I think I'm going to set the phone down and pay attention to what I'm doing instead of looking at the phone. And ta-da! You can see how nice and clean those lines are because I used that tape. The tape is an amazing, amazing thing. I think that's why they make it. Somebody figured this out. Somebody very smart said, you know what? It might be easier if we just put tape around that. So I'm going to be using black caulking around the bottom edge so that it matches the black inlet grout. And I've got it all taped off, and I'm also going to caulk right around the edge of the tub where it meets the floor, just to make sure that's nice and waterproof in there. That's probably the most likely place that water might collect and seep down in between where the grout is and the edge of the shower pan. I keep calling it a tub, but y'all know what I'm talking about. them is how to get that from there to there.
I was gonna push, but okay. How manly of me. Now you need to do a one-handed salute, like.
Yeah. So I was able to get this in here one-handed. I'm a little worried about whether or not I'm going to be able to lift the parts out one-handed though. Dragging a heavy box is a little different than lifting breakable parts, but we'll see. If I'm able to get it out of the box, I probably can get it installed by myself. If I can't lift it out of the box, then I'm probably going to have to see if I can get somebody to help me at least lift the parts. I know how to install it. It's just a matter of can I do it one-handed. And I don't want to break it. I know I'm being a whiner right now, but well, okay, I can lift the tank. As long as the straps don't break on me. Let's see if I can get this out of here. Set it over here for now. Well, the tank is out. This is the part I'm worried about. I don't know if I can lift this thing. And I'm not even going to bother trying to put the phone down because I don't want to be a dumbass and try to actually use my right hand to lift on this, because that could be really hurtful to myself. So if I can't do it holding the phone, I have no business doing it. Oh, this must be the hardware. Heavy. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, that's the top. That's the top of the tank. Okay, so I can live over here with the tank. Let's get all the little parts out. Okay. Don't know if I'm going to be able to... Wow, that's an interesting toilet. It's got a hole going that way too. Never seen one like that. Oh, going in both directions. Oh, that's the toilet seat. Yay for toilet seats. That over there too. This is a little intimidating. Oh, that is pretty heavy for one-handed. I suppose I could lay the box down and slide it out. I'm going to have to be able to set everything else up and then work with it. Honestly, I'm being kind of a scaredy cat here. Yeah, this is heavy dragging it in the box. Maybe I should work on the water line first. Is that... It's not heavy work, at least. I just need to remove this little crimp clamp here and the little stopper. This was all part of the rough end. So I really tried to do the toilet by myself, and I was able to get it out of the box okay. I had to tip the box on its side and kind of drag the toilet out, and then I could lift it up and carry it to the bathroom one-handed, but I can't lift it in an even manner so that I could set it back down on the bolts by myself. There's just no way, because I can't use my right arm to hold it, to balance it, to lift it, to anything. So and it's even hard to use my right hand to do the lightweight work and try to hold it up left-handed, just because my right arm still doesn't quite go in the places it needs to go. So I'm going to have a friend come up and help me this weekend, and so that'll be in the next video, and I'll be able to show you how to first of all attach the valve to the water line and attach the toilet to the water line, and as well as installing the toilet itself. I'm not going to use a wax ring. I actually have another product that I'll be using for that. That'll all be in the next video, so sorry I wasn't able to get it installed